if players are pointing fingers, and we've kind of heard about this all season long, what does that say about the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers right now?
It's not a connected group, and it is not a connected organization right now. Front office to the locker room to ownership, they're not all on the same page, and that makes it hard to win. Part of that locker room scene were some of the players pushing toward management, the coaching staff, in their minds to hold Kevin Love accountable for what they felt was the fact that he had bailed out on them. And so whether in the end they believed completely what the story Love told them, that he was legitimately ill, only they know. But there's just a culture of finger pointing in Cleveland, and the blame kind of keeps getting passed from some inside the locker room to coaching staff to front office to ownership, and that's what's going on a lot of this year.
Trade deadline, February 8th, 16 days away. How do you expect this to play out as that date approaches?
Cleveland is very active right now, and I think they want to get something done before February 8th, long before. They'd like to get something done soon. They want to improve defensively in the backcourt. They've continued to talk with Sacramento about George Hill. They've checked in with Charlotte on Kamba Walker. Cleveland doesn't have great trade assets. They don't have a lot of pieces that people want, but expiring contracts like a Channing Frye, Iman Shumpert has some value. George Hill's contract would pay him $19 million next year. I know ownership's apprehensive about that number because if LeBron James leaves and they want to start a rebuild, they've got that number on the books next year. That's part of the conversation that's gone on in Cleveland on George Hill.
And they have asked LeBron James, Dan Gilbert, about his plans for the future. Are you leaving? He, of course, isn't saying. So if you're GM Kobe Altman and Dan Gilbert signing off on this, what do you do not knowing whether or not he's going to get back? Because that obviously would affect what kind of trade you make.
You don't trade that Brooklyn draft pick they have, the lottery pick from Boston they got in the Irving trade. You don't trade it if you think it's going to be for somebody who's just a rental. If you think LeBron's leaving, they need that for the rebuild that is coming if James leaves.
Well, LeBron certainly not giving away his answer, but not helping the organization if he wants to win now either. So what do you want? Cavs have lost 6 of their last 8, and they're in San Antonio tonight. Adrian, the Spurs have drama of their own regarding Kawhi Leonard and his relationship with the team. Explain.
Through the rehab, the treatment for this right quad injury, it's created something of a gulf and certainly tension between the organization and Kawhi Leonard. He's been described to us as distant, disconnected from the group and the organization. There's work to be done in San Antonio on repairing that relationship. They're hopeful to get him back on the court, back playing at a high level, and that will help to take care of it. But that's been the difficult part in this whole process. They don't have answers about when exactly he'll be back and when he's going to feel right about playing. Because there's been a couple times they brought him back, and he said, I'm not comfortable, and he's gone back, and he's in one of those indefinite periods of leave right now or of sitting out and back to just rehab. They're hopeful maybe by after the All-Star break they'll have a sense of when he can return.
The other big NBA story coming out of Milwaukee, a team many expected to contend in the East. They've struggled, only 2 games above 500. Jason Kidd out as head coach, despite the fact that one of his young stars, Giannis Antetokounmpo, tried to save his job. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, listen, I think Antetokounmpo is extremely respectful of Jason Kidd. He's going to be respectful whoever the coach is. But I think if Milwaukee felt that Jason Kidd was ultimately a deal breaker for Giannis wanting to be there for his future, Jason Kidd would still be the coach there. They felt this team should have been better. They're fighting to hold on to the 8th seed right now. But that will be the most appealing job on the market because of Antetokounmpo, because of a new arena, new practice facility. Milwaukee has the job that every potential coaching candidate covets, and it almost doesn't matter what other jobs become available this offseason. Having the best 25 and under player in the world makes that the opening.
That's a good-looking team right there when Jabari gets back, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Kemba Walker, his name coming up in Charlotte as well. And all of a sudden, Michael Jordan speaking as well, that he could be someone that they're putting out there. What are you hearing about Kemba?
Well, they've continued to talk with teams. We reported last week that they had made Walker available around the league. What Charlotte would like to do is attach a player like Nick Batum to a deal. 4 years, $100 million left on Batum's deal. They would like to get that money off. You're not doing that unless you attach a player of Walker's caliber to a deal. And so they're continuing to talk to teams, and they'll continue to talk to teams right up to the deadline on Kemba.
See Kemba in action last night, the Hornets and the Kings. It wasn't just a nice scoring night. He did it all, Kemba did. Passing to Marvin Williams, he had 26 points, 9 assists. Hornets got the win. So, I mean, he's the heart and soul of their team. They need a...
He's their franchise player. He's the face of that organization. It would be an unpopular move with their fan base to move him.
He said he's devastated even hearing these talks, so it tells you how deep this runs.